Hello there, and welcome to Simple Science for Sleep. Tonight, we're exploring midnight, that quiet moment when one day becomes another. Right now, while you're listening to this, midnight is happening somewhere on Earth. Someone is watching the clock tick from 11:59 to 12 o'clock. And in that single second, something beautiful happens. The instant the clock shows 12 o'clock, it's already moving to 12:01. Midnight is gone before it arrives. It's a mathematical point, not a moment you can hold. Yet, we treat it like it's real. We celebrate it. We make promises at midnight. We wait for it. We fear it sometimes. This is your space to rest while we explore the science of midnight together. So settle in, get comfortable, and let's discover what makes this hour so special. And if you enjoy these quiet journeys through science, please like and subscribe so you don't miss tomorrow's calming story. Leave a comment telling us where you're watching from and what time it is there right now. We love hearing from you. Now, let's talk about midnight itself. Here's something strange. Midnight doesn't really exist, not in the way you think it does. We invented it. We drew a line on time and said, this is where one day ends and another begins. But that line is infinitely thin. It has no width, no duration. Midnight lasts for exactly 0 seconds. And here's what makes it even stranger. Because we divided Earth into time zones, midnight is always happening somewhere. Right now, at this very second, someone on the planet is experiencing their midnight. It rolls around the world like a wave. When it's midnight in New York, it's already tomorrow in London. When it's midnight in Tokyo, yesterday is still happening in Los Angeles. It takes exactly 24 hours for midnight to make a complete circle around Earth. It travels from east to west, following the sun's path in reverse. And because of something called the International Date Line, there's a place in the Pacific Ocean where today and tomorrow exist side by side, where midnight creates 2 different days at the same time. Ancient people didn't think about midnight this way. They didn't have clocks precise enough to mark the exact middle of the night. They knew the sun set and rose. They understood dark and light. But this exact moment, this precise second we call midnight, that's a modern invention. It came with mechanical clocks, with the need to coordinate trains and telegraphs, with our desire to slice time into smaller and smaller pieces. But here's the beautiful part. Even though we invented midnight, even though it's just a line we drew, it does something real to your body. Your cells don't know what a clock is. They can't read numbers, but they know when midnight comes. They feel it. They respond to it. Because midnight isn't just about clocks and time zones and mathematical points. Midnight is when your body reaches toward its deepest rest, when ancient rhythms take over, when something older than clocks, older than cities, older than civilization itself, begins to work its magic. And that's where we're going next. Your body knows midnight. Right now, as you listen to this, your body is doing something remarkable. Something it does every single night at this exact time. It's cooling down. Around midnight, your core temperature drops. Not by much, just 1 or 2 degrees. But that small change matters enormously. Your body isn't broken. It's not sick. This cooling is intentional, deliberate. Your body does it on purpose because cool bodies sleep deeper. Think of your body as a machine that runs hot all day. Your muscles generate heat. Your brain generates heat. Your organs generate heat. By midnight, your body has decided it's time to let that heat go. It opens the blood vessels in your hands and feet. Heat escapes through your skin. Your core temperature falls. This is why your feet might feel cold at night. Why you might need socks even in summer. Your body is pushing warmth out to your extremities so it can cool your center. It's not comfortable, but it's necessary. Deep sleep requires a cool body. At the same time, your blood pressure is dropping. All day, your heart has been pushing blood through your body with force, keeping you alert, keeping you moving. But by midnight, that pressure is at its lowest point of the entire 24-hour cycle. Your heart is working less, resting more between beats. The rush has stopped. And here's something beautiful. While your body cools and your blood pressure drops, a hormone called melatonin is flooding your system. Melatonin is often called the sleep hormone, but that's not quite right. It doesn't make you sleep. It tells your body that darkness is here, that it's safe to rest. Melatonin levels start rising a few hours before midnight. But between midnight and 3 in the morning, it reaches its peak. Your blood is full of this chemical signal that says, "The world is dark, you are safe, let go." This is also when your body does its deepest repair work. While you sleep, while your temperature is low, while melatonin flows, your cells are fixing themselves. They're patching up damage from the day, healing tiny injuries you never noticed, replacing old parts with new ones. Your skin cells regenerate faster at midnight than at noon. Your muscle cells repair themselves more efficiently. Even your bones are busy, rebuilding their structure while you rest. This isn't random. Your body saves this intensive repair work for midnight because that's when it has the energy to spare. During the day, your body focuses on keeping you alive and moving. At midnight, it focuses on keeping you healthy for tomorrow. It's a trade-off, a rhythm, and it's been this way for millions of years, long before humans existed. Your immune system knows this too. It produces more infection-fighting cells during the midnight hours than during the day. If you've ever noticed that you feel sicker at night, this is why. Your immune system is working harder, fighting more aggressively. The symptoms you feel are signs of your body defending itself with everything it has. All of this happens automatically. You don't have to think about cooling down or lowering your blood pressure or releasing melatonin. Your body just knows. It's following instructions written into your cells. And those instructions are connected to something even deeper, something happening in your brain right now. While your body cools and rests, your brain is wide awake, not the way it's awake during the day. This is different. This is cleanup time. Your brain has a waste removal system called the glymphatic system. Think of it like a garbage truck that runs through your brain, picking up trash. Except this garbage truck only runs at night. During the day, your brain is too busy thinking and moving and processing. There's no time for cleanup. But at midnight, When you're asleep, the glymphatic system kicks into high gear. Here's how it works. The spaces between your brain cells actually expand while you sleep. They get about 60% bigger. This creates channels, little rivers between cells. And through these channels, cerebrospinal fluid flows. It washes away the toxic proteins that built up during the day, waste products from thinking, byproducts of being awake. By midnight, this cleaning process has been running for hours. Your brain is literally taking out the trash. And if you don't sleep enough, if you miss these midnight hours, that trash stays in your brain. It builds up. Over time, this buildup is linked to problems with memory and thinking. Your brain needs this midnight wash. But cleanup isn't the only thing happening. Your brain is also sorting through your day. Every experience you had, every conversation, every sight and sound. During the day, all of this information floods in faster than your brain can process it. So, at midnight, your brain replays it all. There's a part of your brain called the hippocampus. It's shaped like a seahorse, and it handles memory. At midnight, while you sleep, your hippocampus is incredibly active. It's replaying the day's experiences, not in real time, faster, much faster. It's deciding what to keep and what to throw away. Important memories get transferred to long-term storage. Unimportant ones get deleted. That boring meeting you sat through, your brain might decide you don't need to remember most of it. But that conversation with a friend, that gets saved. This sorting happens automatically, without you knowing. And then there are dreams. After midnight, your dreams change. They become more vivid, more emotional, more strange. This is because you're entering longer periods of REM sleep. REM stands for rapid eye movement, and it's the stage where most dreaming happens. Earlier in the night, your REM periods are short, maybe 5 or 10 minutes. But after midnight, they stretch longer, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, even 40 minutes by the time morning approaches. And during these long REM periods, your brain is doing something fascinating. It's making connections. Your brain takes memories from different times and places and mixes them together. It finds patterns you didn't see during the day. It solves problems while you sleep. This is why people sometimes wake up with sudden insights, with answers to questions they couldn't figure out yesterday. Their midnight brain solved it while they slept. Scientists used to think sleep was just rest, a way to save energy. But now we know better. Sleep is when your brain does some of its most important work: cleaning, sorting, connecting, creating, and all of this follows a rhythm, an ancient pattern, a clock that ticks inside every cell of your brain, synchronized to something much older than humanity itself. That clock inside your brain is real. It's a tiny cluster of cells called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. Scientists call it the SCN. It's about the size of a grain of rice, and it sits just above where your optic nerves cross. This tiny thing controls your entire sense of time. The SCN is your master clock. But here's what's amazing. Every single cell in your body has its own clock too. Your liver cells have clocks. Your skin cells have clocks. Your heart cells have clocks. Trillions of tiny timepieces, all ticking away, all keeping their own time. Without the SCN, these cellular clocks would fall out of sync. Your liver might think it's morning, while your heart thinks it's night. Your skin might be in one time zone while your brain is in another. It would be chaos. But the SCN prevents this. It acts like a conductor, keeping all those cellular clocks synchronized. And midnight is when the SCN sends out a very specific signal. It tells every cell in your body, deep rest mode. Now, this signal travels through your bloodstream, through your nervous system, reaching every corner of your body. From your toes to your scalp, every cell gets the same message at the same time. This is your circadian midnight, and it might not match the clock on your wall. If you're a night owl, your circadian midnight might come at 2 in the morning. If you're an early bird, it might arrive at 11 at night. Your biological midnight and your clock midnight can be hours apart. Your SCN sets this rhythm based on light, specifically based on when you see bright light and when you see darkness. When sunlight hits your eyes in the morning, it resets your master clock. It says, "This is the beginning of the day." And from that morning light, your SCN calculates when midnight should be. This is why jet lag feels so terrible. Your master clock thinks it's one time, but the sun and the clocks around you say it's another. Your liver is eating breakfast while your brain is trying to sleep. Your cellular clocks are all confused, pulling in different directions. This is also why looking at screens at midnight can mess you up. Your phone emits blue light, the same wavelength as morning sunlight. When that light hits your eyes at midnight, your SCN gets confused. It thinks, "Wait, is it morning? Should I delay midnight?" And it shifts your rhythm later. Just 15 minutes of bright blue light at midnight can push your circadian rhythm back by an hour or more. Your body will want to stay awake longer, fall asleep later, wake up later. One small exposure changes everything. But in complete darkness, your SCN knows exactly what to do. It releases melatonin. It lowers your temperature. It sends that deep rest signal to every cell. Midnight happens the way it's supposed to happen. Your ancestors lived by this rhythm for millions of years. They saw sunrise. They saw sunset. No artificial light. No screens. Their circadian midnight and their actual midnight were probably very close. Their cellular clocks were perfectly synchronized. But humans haven't always experienced midnight the way we do now. Before electricity, before gas lamps, before even candles were common, people had a completely different relationship with the dark hours. And what they did at midnight might surprise you. For thousands of years, humans didn't sleep the way you do now. They didn't go to bed at 10 and wake up at 6. They slept in 2 separate chunks, and midnight was the gap between them. Historians call this segmented sleep or biphasic sleep. It was the normal pattern across Europe, Africa, Asia, and probably everywhere humans lived. People would go to sleep a few hours after sunset. They'd sleep for about 4 hours. Then they'd wake up. This wasn't insomnia. This wasn't a problem. This was expected, normal. They even had a name for it. The watch, the watching time. That quiet hour or two in the middle of the night when you were awake on purpose. What did people do during the watch? They talked. In the darkness of their homes, couples would have conversations. Quiet, intimate talks they didn't have time for during the busy day. They'd discuss their dreams from the first sleep. make plans, share thoughts. Some of the deepest conversations happened during these midnight hours. Some people prayed. Medieval prayer books have specific prayers written for the middle of the night. They acknowledge that you'll be awake, that this is a special time for reflection and connection with the divine. Monks had midnight prayers built into their schedule. They expected to be awake. Others did light work. Women would tend the fire or do simple tasks by its light. Men might check on animals or patrol their property. Nothing strenuous. Nothing that required full alertness. Just gentle activity in the soft darkness. And some people made love. Historical records mention this directly. The time between first sleep and second sleep was considered an ideal time for intimacy. Bodies were rested from first sleep, but not yet deep in second sleep. The house was quiet. Children were sleeping. It was private time. Then, after an hour or two, people would go back to bed. Second sleep would last until dawn or shortly after. 4 more hours of rest. By morning, they'd had 8 hours of sleep total, just split into 2 pieces with a midnight intermission. This pattern lasted until artificial light became common. Gas lamps, then electric lights. Suddenly, people could stay awake later. The evening stretched longer. First sleep got pushed back. And eventually, the gap disappeared. People started sleeping straight through the night in one long block. We think of this modern pattern as natural, as the way humans are supposed to sleep. But it's only about 150 years old. For most of human history, waking up at midnight was completely normal, expected, part of the rhythm of life. Some researchers think this is why so many people wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning. Why they lie there for an hour, unable to fall back asleep, feeling like something is wrong. Maybe nothing is wrong. Maybe their body is just following an ancient pattern. Expecting the watch. If you wake up at midnight, maybe you're not broken. Maybe you're just remembering something your ancestors knew. That midnight isn't just for sleeping. It's for being quietly awake too. For thinking, for feeling, for existing in the peaceful dark. And across different cultures, midnight held even more meanings. Some saw it as magical, as dangerous, as a threshold between worlds. Almost every culture on Earth has a special name for the hours around midnight, and almost all of them agree on one thing. Something changes when the clock strikes 12. The world becomes different, thinner somehow. In Western folklore, it's called the witching hour, the time when the boundary between our world and the spirit world grows weak, when magic works best, when supernatural beings walk freely. This isn't just superstition. It reflects something people felt. That midnight is a between time, neither yesterday nor tomorrow, neither day nor night. In Japan, they call the hours from 1 to 3 in the morning the hour of the ox. It's the second hour in the traditional Japanese time system, and it's considered the most spiritually active time. Some Buddhist temples still hold ceremonies during these hours. They believe prayers offered in the hour of the ox carry more weight, reach further. Medieval Christians believed something similar. Midnight prayer was considered the most powerful prayer. Some monks would wake specifically at midnight to pray. They thought God listened more closely when the world was quiet, when darkness covered everything, when only the truly devoted would make the effort to wake and speak. Hindu tradition has a different approach. They recognize a time called Brahma Muhurta, which comes just before dawn, around 4 in the morning. But to reach it properly, you must pass through midnight first. Midnight is the deepest darkness before the sacred hour of spiritual awakening. In Celtic tradition, midnight on certain nights of the year held special power. Samhain, the festival we now call Halloween, peaked at midnight. The Celts believed the veil between the living and the dead lifted completely at that moment. Ancestors could return. Messages could pass between worlds. African traditions vary widely, but many recognize midnight as a time of spiritual danger and opportunity. A time when you must be careful because unseen forces are active. But also a time when healing and divination work best. When the answers you seek come clearest. Even in modern secular culture, we treat midnight as special. We count down to it on New Year's Eve. We gather in crowds and scream when it arrives. We kiss at midnight. Make wishes at midnight. We mark the New Year's beginning at this exact second, not at sunrise, not at noon, but at midnight. Why? Why do so many different cultures, separated by oceans and centuries, all agree that midnight matters? Maybe because humans everywhere sleep at night. And everywhere, people sometimes wake in the deepest darkness and feel that something is different. The world sounds different, feels different. Time moves differently. There's no sun to mark the hours, no work to do, no place to be. You're suspended between sleep and waking, between yesterday and tomorrow. Your mind is in that strange state between dreaming and thinking. Reality feels flexible. Anything seems possible. Our ancestors interpreted this feeling through their beliefs. Magic, spirits, gods, divine attention, different explanations for the same experience. That midnight is a threshold, a doorway, a crack in the normal order of things. And while humans sleep and wake and tell stories about midnight, above them, the night sky puts on its own display. The stars and planets and moon shifting through patterns that have nothing to do with human time, but everything to do with where we are in space. When you look up at midnight, you're facing away from the sun into deep space. Your part of Earth has rotated to the opposite side. You're looking at the universe with nothing between you and it but atmosphere and darkness. This means the stars you see at midnight are different from the stars at sunset or sunrise. At midnight, you're seeing the constellations on the far side of Earth's yearly journey around the sun. 6 months from now, those same stars will be visible in daylight, invisible behind the sun's glare. But tonight, at midnight, they're yours to see. In summer, midnight shows you the center of our galaxy. The Milky Way's dense core rises in the southern sky, thick with stars. Billions of them packed so close together they look like clouds. In winter, midnight faces you away from the galactic center, toward the outer edge of our spiral arm. Fewer stars, more darkness between them. The stars themselves haven't moved. Earth has. We orbit the sun once per year, and that orbit shows us different parts of the sky at different times. Midnight is your window to whatever section of the universe your orbit has carried you toward. And here's something beautiful. The light from those stars left them years ago, decades ago, centuries ago. The photons hitting your eyes right now began their journey before you were born. Some of them started traveling before humans existed. They crossed trillions of miles of empty space just to reach your eyes at this exact midnight. If you're somewhere with dark skies, away from city lights, midnight shows you something extraordinary. The Milky Way becomes visible as a river of light across the sky. Not metaphorically, actually, you can see it clearly. That band of light is our galaxy seen from inside. Billions of stars too distant to see individually, blending together into a glowing path. Ancient people used this midnight sky for navigation. Sailors learned which stars pointed north, which ones rose in the east, which patterns told them where they were on the ocean. The midnight sky was a map, a compass, a calendar, all in one. Even the planets follow midnight rules. If you see Jupiter at midnight, it means Jupiter is opposite the Sun in our sky. Earth is between them. This position, called opposition, is when planets appear brightest and biggest. Astronomers wait for midnight oppositions to get the best views. The moon has its own midnight relationship. A full moon rises at sunset and sets at sunrise. So when does it reach its highest point? Midnight. When you see a full moon directly overhead, you know it's close to midnight. The moon is reflecting sunlight from the other side of Earth, illuminating your midnight with light that's already traveled 93 million miles from the sun, then another 250,000 miles from the moon. A new moon does the opposite. It's up during the day and down at night. At midnight, during a new moon, you get true darkness. No moonlight, just starlight. This is when the sky shows you its deepest view, when you can see the furthest. Photographers call these the astronomical nights, when the moon is down and the sun is far below the horizon. When midnight reveals the universe without interference. When you can see what's really out there. And while you watch this cosmic display, the planet beneath your feet is going through its own midnight transformation. The planet itself changes at midnight. The air becomes calm. Wind speeds that built up during the day drop to almost nothing. The atmosphere settles into its quietest state. During the day, the sun heats the ground unevenly. Hot spots and cool spots create pressure differences. Air rushes from high pressure to low pressure. That's wind. But at midnight, with no sun heating anything, those pressure differences shrink. The air stops rushing. Everything becomes still. This is why midnight often feels so quiet. It's not just that people are asleep and cars are rare. The air itself has stopped moving. Sound travels differently through still air. Farther, clearer. You can hear things at midnight that would be lost during the day. Something else happens too. A temperature inversion forms. Normally, air gets cooler as you go higher. But at midnight, the ground cools faster than the air above it. So you get a layer of cold air trapped near the surface, with warmer air sitting on top. This flips the normal pattern, inverts it. This inversion traps everything. Sound, smell, moisture. That's why fog forms at midnight. The cold ground chills the air touching it below the dew point. Water vapor condenses into tiny droplets. Fog is literally a cloud sitting on the ground. And it happens, most often in the hours around midnight. Dew forms through the same process. Water vapor in the air touches cold grass, cold leaves, cold metal. It condenses instantly. By midnight, everything outside is covered in tiny water droplets. If you walk through grass at midnight, your feet get soaked. The grass isn't wet from rain. It's wet from the air itself. Plants respond to midnight in their own way. Most plants have tiny holes in their leaves called stomata. During the day, these holes stay open to take in carbon dioxide for photosynthesis. But at midnight, they close. The plant seals itself, conserves water, rests. Some plants follow a daily rhythm even more dramatic. Their leaves actually fold up at night. Prayer plants do this. Clover does this. Dozens of species close their leaves at sunset and reopen them at sunrise. Scientists call it nyctinasty, the plant's version of sleep. And it peaks at midnight. Even the soil changes. During the day, the sun heats the surface. That heat slowly works its way down into deeper layers. But heat moves slowly through dirt. By midnight, the surface has cooled, but the deeper soil is still warm from yesterday. The temperature evens out, stabilizes. This matters to everything living underground. Earthworms come to the surface at midnight because the temperature difference is smallest. Roots grow more actively. Bacteria in the soil shift their behavior. The entire underground ecosystem follows a midnight rhythm. Trees stop growing upward at night. Their cells don't divide in darkness, but they do expand. They fill with water. This is why trees are slightly taller at midnight than at noon. During the day, the sun draws water up and out through the leaves. The trunk shrinks a tiny bit. At midnight, water flows back in. The trunk swells. You could measure this with sensitive instruments. A tree breathing, swelling at midnight, shrinking at noon. The forest has a pulse, a rhythm, and it syncs to the same day-night cycle that syncs your body. But midnight's rhythm extends beyond land. In the oceans, something even more remarkable is happening right now. Every night, the largest migration on Earth happens in the ocean. And most people have no idea it exists. It's called the diel vertical migration. Billions of sea creatures rise from the deep ocean toward the surface after sunset. By midnight, they're at their highest point. Then, before dawn, they sink back down into the darkness. This happens every single night in every ocean on the planet. Why? Safety. During the day, small creatures hide in the deep where predators can't see them easily. The darkness down there protects them. But at night, they can rise safely to the surface, where food is more abundant. Tiny plants called phytoplankton grow in the sunlit surface waters. At midnight, when it's dark up there too, small animals come up to eat them. We're not talking about a few fish. We're talking about billions of tons of biomass. Tiny shrimp-like creatures called krill, jellyfish, squid, larval fish, zooplankton of every type. They travel hundreds of meters up through the water column. Some rise from 1,000 feet deep to just below the surface. This migration is so massive that naval sonar operators used to think they'd found the ocean floor. They'd bounce sound waves down and get a reflection back from what looked like the bottom. Except this bottom moved. It rose at night and sank during the day. They called it the deep scattering layer. Eventually, they realized they were detecting millions of creatures, all moving together. Small fish follow the zooplankton up. Then larger fish follow those fish. Then even larger predators follow them. The whole food chain rises in sequence. By midnight, the upper ocean is crowded with life that spent the day in darkness far below. Squid are some of the most active midnight migrants. They have huge eyes adapted for low light. At midnight, they hunt in the dark surface waters, catching fish and smaller squid. Some species of squid only feed during these midnight hours. The rest of the day, they fast in the deep. Even some whales follow this pattern. Sperm whales are known to hunt at different depths depending on the time of day. At midnight, they sometimes hunt closer to the surface where prey is temporarily abundant. During the day, they go deeper, following the migration down. This rhythm has existed for millions of years, long before humans, long before mammals. Even in the age of dinosaurs, ancient marine creatures were probably doing this same vertical dance, rising at night, sinking at day, following the light and the darkness. Scientists estimate that this migration moves more biomass, more distance than any other daily event on Earth. More than birds flying south for winter. More than wildebeest crossing the Serengeti. The ocean's midnight migration dwarfs them all. And it happens every single night without anyone seeing it. You can't watch it from shore. It happens too far out and too deep down. But if you're on a boat at midnight and you shine a light into the water, you might see hints of it. Tiny, translucent creatures catching the light. Small fish darting at the edge of the beam. The ocean at midnight is full of life that will vanish by dawn. This enormous rhythm in the ocean mirrors a smaller rhythm happening inside your own body right now. A dance of chemicals that peaks at midnight. Your bloodstream at midnight is full of messages, chemical signals telling every cell in your body what to do. These hormones follow a precise schedule, and midnight is when many of them reach critical points. Growth hormone surges during the first deep sleep cycle after midnight. This hormone doesn't just make children grow taller. In adults, it repairs tissue, rebuilds muscle, strengthens bones. Most of your body's physical repair work happens when growth hormone is high, and it's highest in those deep sleep hours after midnight. If you skip these hours, if you stay awake past midnight regularly, you miss this surge. Your body doesn't repair itself as efficiently. Athletes know this. They protect their sleep after midnight because that's when their muscles actually recover from training. At the same time, cortisol is at its lowest point. Cortisol is often called the stress hormone, but that's too simple. It wakes you up in the morning, keeps you alert during the day, helps you respond to danger. But at midnight, your body doesn't need alertness, it needs rest. So, cortisol drops to almost nothing. This low cortisol is part of why midnight feels so calm, why your mind can finally quiet down. The chemical that keeps you vigilant and reactive has temporarily left your system. You can let go. Another hormone rises at midnight: prolactin. It's famous for its role in milk production, but everyone has prolactin, not just nursing mothers. And at midnight, it peaks. Prolactin supports your immune system, helps fight infections. Your body produces more infection-fighting cells when prolactin is high. This is why you sometimes feel sicker at night. Your immune system ramps up after midnight. The symptoms you experience, fever, inflammation, congestion, those are signs of your immune system working hard. It's not that the infection gets worse at night. It's that your defenses get stronger. Leptin, the hormone that tells you you're full, also peaks during midnight hours. This might seem strange. Why would a satiety hormone be high when you're not eating? Because leptin does more than control appetite. It regulates energy use. At midnight, high leptin tells your body, we have enough stored energy. Focus on repair, not conservation. In men, testosterone begins its rise toward a morning peak. It starts climbing around midnight. By dawn, it's at its highest level of the day. This daily rhythm affects mood, energy, muscle maintenance, and dozens of other processes. The midnight rise is the beginning of that cycle. Even insulin follows a midnight pattern. Your cells become more insulin sensitive during the night. This means they can absorb glucose more efficiently. Your body uses this time to stabilize blood sugar levels, to reset the metabolic processes that will power you through tomorrow. All of these hormones are connected. They influence each other. Growth hormone affects cortisol. Cortisol affects insulin. Insulin affects leptin. They form a network of chemical signals, all synchronized to the 24-hour day. And midnight is a crucial checkpoint in that cycle. When you disrupt midnight, when you flood your body with light or activity or stress at this hour, you throw off the entire hormonal network. The signals get confused, the timing gets jumbled, and you feel it, not immediately, but over time, as the misalignment builds. But sometimes, even when everything is working perfectly, midnight refuses to bring sleep. You wake up at midnight and you can't get back to sleep. Your eyes open. Your mind starts racing. The clock says 12:47 or 1:23 or 2:14, and you're completely awake when you should be deeply asleep. This is midnight insomnia, and it's different from trouble falling asleep at bedtime. This is waking in the middle of the night and finding sleep has abandoned you. It happens to millions of people every night. Sometimes your body temperature is the culprit. Remember how your temperature drops at midnight. That drop can trigger waking. Your body gets a little too cold and your brain notices. It pulls you up from deep sleep into lighter sleep or full waking. You might not even feel cold, but the temperature change was enough to interrupt the cycle. Blood sugar can do it too. If you didn't eat enough at dinner, or if you ate too much sugar earlier, your blood glucose might drop sharply around midnight. Your body releases adrenaline to raise it back up. That adrenaline wakes you. You feel alert, anxious maybe. Your heart might beat a little faster. All because your blood sugar dipped. Cortisol sometimes spikes at the wrong time. It's supposed to be low at midnight, but stress can override that pattern. If you're worried about something, if you're anxious, your body might release cortisol in the middle of the night, and cortisol wakes you up. That's its job. It makes you alert and ready to respond to threats. The problem is, there is no threat. There's just you and your bed and the darkness. But your body doesn't know that. It pumped out the wake-up hormone, and now you're awake. Your mind starts spinning, thinking about tomorrow's meeting or last week's argument or all the things you need to do. Anxiety feels worse at midnight, much worse. There's a reason for this. The prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that handles rational thinking and perspective, it's less active during the night. Meanwhile, your amygdala, the part that handles fear and emotion, stays active. So, you feel anxiety without the ability to think through it rationally. That worry that seems manageable during the day becomes overwhelming at midnight. Your brain fixates on it, loops on it, can't let it go. And the more you worry about not sleeping, the more awake you become. It's a terrible cycle. The quiet makes it worse. During the day, there's noise, distraction, other people. At midnight, there's just you and your thoughts. Every worry gets amplified. Every problem seems bigger. The silence gives your anxious thoughts room to echo and grow. And here's what makes midnight insomnia especially frustrating. Your body needs these hours. This is prime sleep time. This is when your deepest rest should be happening, when your brain should be cleaning itself and consolidating memories, when your body should be repairing and restoring. But instead, you're awake, staring at the ceiling, watching the minutes tick by. Understanding why this happens doesn't always fix it, but it can help. Knowing that your temperature, or blood sugar, or hormones might be involved, that gives you something to work with. Small adjustments earlier in the day can make midnight more peaceful. Because when everything aligns correctly, midnight brings something remarkable, a kind of calm that's hard to find anywhere else. When midnight works the way it should, your brain floods with a chemical called GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid. It's the main calming neurotransmitter in your entire nervous system, and it's most active at night. GABA works by slowing down neurons. It makes them less likely to fire, less reactive. During the day, you need your neurons firing quickly. That's how you think and move and respond to the world. But at midnight, you need the opposite. You need your brain to slow down, to stop reacting. GABA makes that happen. When GABA levels are high, thoughts move slower, anxiety decreases. Your mind stops jumping from topic to topic. You can finally let go of the day. This is why some sleep medications target GABA receptors. They're trying to artificially create what your brain does naturally at midnight. At the same time, your parasympathetic nervous system takes control. You have two nervous systems that balance each other. Sympathetic, which handles stress and action. Parasympathetic, which handles rest and recovery. During the day, sympathetic dominates. At midnight, parasympathetic takes over. This shift is measurable. Your heart rate drops. Instead of beating 70 or 80 times per minute, it might drop to 50 or 60. And the pattern changes too. Something called heart rate variability increases. The time between beats becomes less rigid, more flexible. This variability is a sign of health, a sign that your parasympathetic system is working. Your breathing changes too. It becomes slower, deeper, more regular. You stop taking those shallow, quick breaths that come with daytime alertness. At midnight, each breath takes longer. You pull more air into your lungs. Your blood oxygen levels stabilize at their optimal point. Muscle tension releases in waves. You might not even notice it happening, but the tight shoulders relax. The clenched jaw loosens. The tension in your lower back eases. Your body has been holding itself ready all day, and at midnight, it finally lets go. This release happens in stages. First, the large muscles relax. Then, the smaller ones, the tiny muscles around your eyes, the muscles in your hands, even the muscles that hold your internal organs in place. Everything softens, settles. Blood flow shifts too. During the day, more blood goes to your brain and muscles. You need it there for thinking and moving. At midnight, blood flow redistributes. More goes to your digestive system, to your skin, to your repair systems. Your body redirects resources from action to recovery. Your pupils dilate slightly in the darkness. Not because you're afraid or excited, just because that's what pupils do when they're not trying to protect you from bright light. Dilated pupils at midnight mean your eyes are relaxed, open, not guarding against anything. Even your immune cells behave differently. They become more active at midnight, but also more precise. They hunt for infections more aggressively. They clean up damaged cells more efficiently. Your body uses this calm time to do maintenance work that would be disruptive during the day. All of these changes happen automatically. You don't have to think about releasing GABA or activating your parasympathetic system or relaxing your muscles. Your body knows what to do at midnight. It's been doing this since you were born. And there's something almost poetic about the mathematics of midnight itself. Midnight is exactly halfway between two sunsets. It's the mathematical center of the solar day. When ancient timekeepers designed our clocks, they had to choose where the day begins. They chose midnight, not sunrise, not noon. The middle of the night became the origin point for measuring time. This creates a beautiful symmetry. Noon is 12 hours after midnight. The next midnight is 12 hours after noon. The day pivots around these 2 points. One in full light, one in full darkness. Perfect balance. But here's what makes it stranger. Every time zone on Earth experiences their own midnight at the same local time. When it's midnight in New York, people in New York experience that exact same 1200 moment that people in Tokyo experienced 14 hours earlier. The clock shows the same numbers everywhere. The moment feels universal, even though it's actually local. This creates a wave. Midnight rolls around the planet from east to west, following the sun's path backward. It starts at the international dateline in the Pacific. Then it moves across Asia, Europe, Africa, the Americas. It takes 24 hours to make a complete circle. And during that 24 hours, every human on Earth passes through midnight. New Year's celebrations make this wave visible. When the ball drops in Times Square at midnight, it's already New Year in Australia, already been celebrated there for hours. But the Times Square midnight is happening for the first time in that location. People watch broadcasts from around the world, seeing midnight arrive again and again in different cities. The same moment, different times. For 1 hour every day, yesterday and today feel equally close. At 11:59 p.m., yesterday is just a minute away. At 12:01 a.m., tomorrow hasn't fully arrived yet. You're suspended between two dates. Neither one fully owns you. You exist in the transition. Some people find this unsettling. The day changing without any external sign. No sunrise to mark it. No ceremony. Just numbers on a clock rolling over. But others find it peaceful. The day ends quietly, privately, in the dark. You don't have to watch it go. Mathematically, midnight is an elegant solution to a complex problem. Humans needed a way to divide continuous time into discrete chunks. We needed days to start somewhere. Putting that start at the darkest, quietest hour makes sense. It's when most people are asleep anyway, when they won't notice the transition. The day can change without disturbing anyone. This is different from how many ancient cultures marked time. Some started the day at sunrise, some at sunset. The Jewish calendar still starts days at sunset. The Islamic calendar too. Their midnight is the middle of the day, not the start of it. But the Western system that dominates global timekeeping chose midnight as 0 hour. And so we've built our entire relationship with time around this dark, quiet moment. Workdays start after midnight. Deadlines fall at midnight. Legal documents mark midnight as the boundary between valid and expired. Contracts begin or end at midnight. It's the most important moment that nobody sees. The natural world has its own version of this balance point, an equilibrium that happens every night. In the natural world, midnight is when day and night creatures swap shifts. It's the changeover point, the transition zone between two different versions of the same place. Nocturnal animals are reaching their peak activity around midnight. Owls are hunting, bats are feeding, raccoons are foraging, rats are exploring. For these creatures, midnight isn't rest time, it's prime time, the middle of their active day. But diurnal animals, the ones active in daylight, are in their deepest sleep at midnight. Songbirds are motionless in trees. Squirrels are tucked in their nests. Deer are bedded down in hidden spots. Lizards are dormant. They won't stir until dawn starts to lighten the sky. This creates a balance. The same forest that was full of chickadees and woodpeckers at noon is now full of owls and flying squirrels at midnight. Different creatures using the same space at different times, sharing resources by dividing the 24-hour day. Predator and prey patterns shift too. The animals hunting at midnight are different from the ones hunting at noon. Hawks rest while owls work. Coyotes take over from eagles. The prey animals adjust accordingly. Rabbits that were hiding from hawks during the day now hide from foxes at night. Even the air finds balance at midnight. Remember those temperature inversions. The cold air trapped near the ground with warmer air above. This creates the most stable atmospheric conditions of the entire day. No convection, no rising air masses, no weather systems developing, just stillness. Meteorologists call these radiational cooling nights. The ground radiates heat into space without the sun replacing it. Everything cools evenly, gradually. Temperature differences shrink until the air reaches equilibrium. This happens most completely around midnight. Atmospheric pressure stabilizes too. During the day, the sun heats air unevenly, creating pressure changes, high pressure systems, low pressure systems, wind. But at midnight, with no sun input, these systems calm down. The pressure gradients flatten. The air stops rushing around trying to equalize itself. Water reaches its own equilibrium at midnight. Lakes and ponds stop their daily circulation. During the day, the sun heats surface water. Warm water rises. Cool water sinks. This creates currents, mixing. But at midnight, that process stops. The water stratifies into layers, each layer settling at its natural depth based on temperature. Even soil temperatures balance out. The sun heats the surface during the day. That heat slowly conducts downward, but heat moves slowly through dirt. By midnight, the surface has cooled, but deeper layers are still warm. The temperature gradient evens out. The soil reaches its most uniform state. Plants stop their daily growth movements at midnight. Many flowers track the sun during the day, turning their faces to follow it across the sky. But at midnight, that movement stops. The flowers face wherever they ended up at sunset, still, waiting for dawn to start the tracking again. Insects follow midnight patterns too. Some species only fly at midnight. Certain moths, certain beetles. They wait out the daylight, wait out the early evening, then emerge specifically at midnight when their predators are least active and their preferred flowers are fully open. This is nature's midnight shift change. The world doesn't stop. It transforms, becomes a different place with different rules. And above all this earthly activity, the moon watches with its own midnight story to tell. When you see a full moon at midnight, you're looking at something remarkable. That moon is exactly opposite the sun in the sky. Earth is directly between them. You're standing on the night side of the planet, and the entire day side of the moon is facing you, fully lit. This is why full moons rise at sunset and set at sunrise. They're positioned opposite the sun. So, when the sun drops below your western horizon, the full moon rises above your eastern horizon. 6 hours later, at midnight, that moon is at its highest point directly above you. Another 6 hours, and it sets in the west as the sun rises in the east. The light hitting your eyes from that midnight moon is sunlight. It left the sun 8 minutes ago, traveled 93 million miles to the moon, bounced off the moon's surface, then traveled another 240,000 miles to reach you. That's a 240,000 mile journey, just so you can see at midnight. But moonlight is much dimmer than sunlight. The moon reflects only about 12% of the light that hits it. Most of it gets absorbed by the grey lunar dust. What bounces back is weak. A full moon provides only about 1/400,000th the light of the sun. That's why you can look directly at the moon but not the sun. Still, that dim light is enough. On a clear night with a full moon at midnight, you can read. You can walk without a flashlight. You can see colors, though they appear muted. Humans have used moonlight for navigation and work for thousands of years. Farmers planted crops by moonlight. Travelers walked by it. Lovers met by it. The moon's phase determines how dark midnight actually is. During a new moon, when the moon is between Earth and the sun, its dark side faces you. At midnight, during a new moon, the moon is below the horizon anyway, on the day side with the sun. The sky is truly dark. Only starlight remains. During a crescent moon, you get some light, but not much. The moon rises and sets at odd hours, might not even be up at midnight. During a quarter moon, half the moon is lit and it's up for part of the night. Each phase creates a different midnight brightness. In extreme northern and southern latitudes, during summer, midnight never gets fully dark. The sun dips just below the horizon, but not far enough for true darkness. These white nights happen in places like St. Petersburg, Reykjavik, Anchorage. The twilight lasts all night. Midnight glows with a dim blue light, even without the moon. But in most places, midnight means darkness. Real darkness. The kind humans rarely experience anymore. In cities, light pollution washes out the night sky. But find a place far from city lights. Wait for a new moon. And midnight shows you what darkness actually is. In that darkness, your eyes adjust. Your pupils expand fully. After about 30 minutes, you can see surprisingly well. Your night vision activates. You're using different cells in your retina. Cells designed for low light. You can't see colors well, but you can see shapes, movements, contrasts. This is the midnight your ancestors knew. Deep darkness punctuated by stars and occasional moonlight. No streetlights, no phone screens. Just natural light and natural darkness in their natural rhythm. And in that darkness, you're never truly still. Right now, as you lie still in your bed at midnight, you're moving faster than a jet plane. You're spinning with Earth's rotation at roughly 1,000 miles per hour. That's the speed at the equator. If you're further north or south, you're moving slightly slower, but still incredibly fast. You can't feel it because everything around you is moving at the same speed. Your bed, your room, the air, the ground, all spinning together. There's no wind in your face, no sense of motion, but you're racing through space at a speed that would rip an airplane apart. At the same time, you're orbiting the sun at 67,000 miles per hour. Earth circles the sun once per year, covering about 584 million miles in that time. Do the math, and that's 67,000 miles every hour. At midnight, you're on the outer edge of that orbit, swinging through space on the night side of the planet. But it gets faster. The entire solar system is moving through the Milky Way galaxy at 514,000 miles per hour. The sun isn't standing still. It's orbiting the galactic center. And it's dragging all the planets with it. We complete one galactic orbit every 225 million years. Dinosaurs lived one galactic orbit ago, and the galaxy itself is moving. It's traveling through space at about 1.3 million miles per hour, moving toward a gravitational anomaly called the Great Attractor. All the galaxies in our local cluster are being pulled in that direction. The Milky Way is falling through space, and you're falling with it. Add all those speeds together, and you're moving through space at unimaginable velocity. Yet, you feel perfectly still. Your body doesn't register any of it. You're in a bed, in a room, feeling stationary, feeling safe. This is one of the most remarkable things about midnight. You can lie there in total peace while the universe rushes around you at millions of miles per hour. The stillness you feel is real on a human scale, but on a cosmic scale, you're in wild motion. Every midnight, you've traveled billions of miles through space since the previous midnight. You're in a completely different location in the universe than you were 24 hours ago. Earth's orbit has carried you forward. The solar system's movement has carried you further. The galaxy's motion has taken you even further still. You'll never return to this exact spot in space. Ever. Even though Earth completes its orbit and comes back to the same position relative to the Sun has moved. The galaxy has moved. This moment, this midnight, is happening in a place in the universe that has never held you before and never will again. Ancient philosophers talked about how you can't step in the same river twice. The water has moved on, but it's more profound than that. You can't occupy the same point in space twice. The universe is expanding. Everything is moving. There is no standing still. There is no going back. At midnight, in the dark and quiet, you're hurtling through space on a journey that started with the Big Bang and will continue until the universe ends. You're part of the largest, longest journey possible, and you're making that journey while lying peacefully in bed, completely unaware. While you move through space, tiny changes are unfolding inside every cell of your body. While you race through space, your cells are running their own midnight routines. And the most important work happens between midnight and 4 in the morning. This is when your DNA gets repaired. Every day, your DNA takes damage. Ultraviolet light from the sun, chemicals in your food, normal metabolic processes. Tiny errors accumulate in the genetic code inside your cells. If these errors aren't fixed, they can lead to mutations, to cancer, to malfunction. So your cells have repair systems, proteins that scan DNA looking for mistakes. When they find damage, they cut it out and rebuild that section correctly. This repair happens all the time, but it happens most actively at night. Between midnight and dawn, your cells fix more DNA damage than during any other period. Why at night? Because DNA repair requires energy and resources. During the day, your cells are busy with other tasks, producing hormones, transmitting nerve signals, contracting muscles. There's not enough spare capacity for major repair work. At midnight, when you're asleep and demands are low, cells can redirect resources to maintenance. Proteins are also folding and refolding at midnight. Proteins are the machines that do most of the work in your cells, but they're fragile. They unfold, get damaged, stop working correctly. Your cells have systems to refold damaged proteins back into their correct shapes, or break them down and recycle their parts. This quality control happens continuously, but it accelerates at midnight. Your cells are checking every protein, fixing the ones that can be fixed, destroying the ones that can't, keeping the cellular machinery running smoothly. Your mitochondria regenerate during these hours too. Mitochondria are the power plants of your cells. They produce the energy molecules that keep you alive, but they wear out from constant use. At midnight, damaged mitochondria get broken down and replaced. Your cells build new ones from scratch. This is why sleep deprivation leaves you feeling exhausted. Your mitochondria didn't get their maintenance window. Skin cells divide and regenerate faster at night than during the day. The growth rate peaks between midnight and 4 a.m. This is why sleep affects how your skin looks. People who sleep well have healthier skin. Their cells had time to regenerate. People who don't sleep well show it in their face. The repair work got skipped. Even your gut bacteria follow a midnight rhythm. The microbes in your intestines have their own circadian clocks. Some species are more active at midnight. Others are dormant. They take turns, creating a 24-hour cycle of bacterial activity. When you disrupt your sleep schedule, you disrupt their schedule too. This can affect digestion, immunity, even mood. Your immune system produces more of certain cells at night. T cells, B cells, natural killer cells. These infection-fighting cells get manufactured in larger quantities during the midnight hours. Your bone marrow ramps up production while you sleep. This is part of why sleep helps you fight off illness. Your immune system literally works harder at night. All of this cellular activity is coordinated, synchronized, happening in trillions of cells at once. Each cell knowing what to do at midnight without any conscious control from you. The instructions are written into the cellular machinery itself, and all of it happens in service of one thing: tomorrow. Sleep researchers have a term for the hours between midnight and 4 a.m. They call it deep sleep territory. This is the window when your most restorative sleep happens. The sleep that actually matters for feeling recovered. Your deepest non-REM sleep typically occurs in the first half of the night, peaking before 2 in the morning. During this deep sleep, your brain waves slow down dramatically. They shift from the quick, choppy waves of waking consciousness to long, rolling waves called delta waves. Delta waves are the slowest brain waves you can produce while alive. They cycle about once per second. During the day, your brain waves cycle 15 to 30 times per second. At midnight, in deep sleep, everything slows way down. Your neurons fire in synchronized waves, millions of brain cells pulsing together in slow rhythm. This synchronized slow wave sleep is when your brain does its deepest restoration. The glymphatic system we talked about earlier works best during these delta wave periods. The spaces between brain cells expand most fully. The waste removal happens most efficiently. Your brain literally cleans itself most thoroughly during midnight's deep sleep. This is also when memories get consolidated most effectively. Your hippocampus transfers information to long-term storage primarily during these slow wave periods. The deep sleep before 2 a.m. matters more for memory than the lighter sleep after 4 a.m. Students who stay up past midnight cramming actually hurt their ability to remember what they studied. Missing these midnight hours affects you more than missing morning sleep. If you go to bed at 2 a.m. instead of 10 p.m., you skip most of your deep sleep window. You might still get 6 hours of sleep total, but you've lost the most valuable hours. You wake up feeling unrested, even though you slept for a reasonable amount of time. Your body knows this. It prioritizes deep sleep in the early night. If you're sleep deprived, your brain will try to catch up on deep sleep first. It needs those delta waves. It needs that restoration. REM sleep is important too, but deep sleep comes first in the priority list. Athletes understand this instinctively. They protect the hours before 2 a.m. religiously. Professional sports teams schedule around it. They know that missing midnight sleep affects performance more than missing dawn sleep. The physical recovery, the growth hormone release, the tissue repair, it all peaks in this midnight window. This is why shift work is so damaging. Night shift workers are awake during deep sleep territory. Their bodies are screaming for delta waves, for restoration, for that midnight reset. But they're at work instead. Over time, this mismatch creates serious health problems. Higher rates of heart disease, diabetes, depression. The body cannot adapt to missing midnight. Your body literally needs this midnight sanctuary. Not just sleep, but midnight sleep specifically. The hours between midnight and dawn contain something you can't get at any other time. A kind of rest that's qualitatively different from afternoon naps or evening drowsiness. Ancient wisdom knew this even without understanding the science. They knew midnight was sacred, special, a time that demanded respect. They were right. Midnight offers something irreplaceable, and that's part of why it carries such weight in our minds. Midnight feels like a fresh start, like a reset button, and psychologists have proven this feeling is real. They call it the fresh start effect. When the calendar changes, when a new time period begins, people feel more motivated to change their behavior, to try again. New Year's midnight is the most obvious example. Millions of people make resolutions at midnight on January 1st. They feel like the changing year gives them permission to become different, to leave old patterns behind. The clock striking midnight creates a psychological break between who they were and who they want to be. But smaller midnights work too. The start of a new month, a new week, even just a new day. Every midnight offers that same sense of possibility. Yesterday is done. Today is fresh. You get to start over. Research shows that commitments made at midnight carry more weight than commitments made in the morning. If you decide at midnight to exercise tomorrow, you're more likely to follow through than if you make the same decision at 9 a.m. There's something about midnight that makes promises feel more serious, more binding. Maybe it's because midnight is the last chance and the first chance simultaneously. The last moment to claim today, the first moment to claim tomorrow. Standing at that threshold makes decisions feel more significant. Midnight thoughts feel more profound too, more meaningful. People report having deeper insights and more intense emotions during the midnight hours. And there's a reason for this. Your prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that regulates and filters thoughts, is less active at night. Meanwhile, your emotional centers stay active. So, at midnight, you feel things more intensely without the usual rational filtering. That worry seems bigger because your logical brain isn't there to keep it in perspective. That creative idea seems brilliant because your critical thinking isn't immediately shooting it down. Emotions have more room to expand. This is why artists and writers often work at midnight. The reduced filtering allows ideas to flow more freely. Connections that would seem strange during the day feel natural at midnight. The internal critic goes quiet. Raw creativity emerges. But it also means midnight can amplify negative thoughts. Problems that seemed manageable during the day become overwhelming. Anxieties spiral. The same reduced filtering that helps creativity also removes the mental guardrails that normally keep worry in check. The quiet amplifies everything. During the day, external noise distracts you from your internal state. At midnight, there's nothing but you and your thoughts. Every emotion echoes louder in that silence. Every worry has room to expand. Every hope feels more possible or more impossible. Midnight has always been a time of transformation in human psychology. The witching hour, the dark night of the soul, the moment of truth. Different names for the same experience. When the ordinary world recedes and the internal world becomes overwhelming. This is why midnight matters so much in stories. It's when Cinderella's magic ends. When werewolves transform. When ghosts appear. When heroes face their darkest moment. Midnight represents the turning point, the moment of change, the threshold between states of being. And in your own life, every midnight offers that same threshold. The day turns over, the date changes, and you're invited once again to begin. Midnight is always approaching somewhere, always passing somewhere. Right now, at this exact second, someone on Earth is watching their clock turn from 11:59 to 12 on. The wave continues, rolling westward, never stopping, as old as human timekeeping itself. And yet, midnight never truly exists. Not as a moment you can hold. It's infinitely thin, a mathematical point with no duration. By the time you recognize it, it's already gone, already becoming the past, already turning into the minutes after midnight. But this non-existent moment does something real. It resets your body, triggers your deepest sleep, activates repair systems in every cell, floods your brain with cleaning fluid, synchronizes trillions of cellular clocks. Your body knows midnight, even when your mind doesn't. This has been true for millions of years, long before clocks, long before humans. The rhythm of day and night has been driving biological processes since life began. Your cells inherited this midnight response from ancestors so ancient they weren't even recognizable as animals yet. You're connected to that ancient rhythm right now, as you listen to this, as your body cools, as your brain waves slow, as melatonin flows through your bloodstream. You're doing exactly what your body is designed to do at midnight. Rest, restore, reset. The universe spins on around you. Earth rotates at 1,000 miles per hour, orbits the sun at 67,000. The solar system flies through the galaxy at 500,000. And you lie still, safe, held by gravity and darkness, and the knowledge that morning will come. Every midnight invites you to let go, to trust that tomorrow will arrive without your effort, that your body will repair itself while you sleep, that the problems of today don't need to be solved right now in the darkness. They can wait. You can rest. This is midnight's gift. Not answers, not solutions, just permission to stop, to be still, to exist in the quiet dark without doing anything, without being anything except a breathing, resting human body traveling through space on a spinning planet. And tomorrow, midnight will come again. The same moment, the same invitation, always there, always offering you this chance to begin again, to let the day end, to trust the darkness, to sleep. Thank you for spending this midnight with us, for exploring these quiet facts together. If you found peace in this journey through midnight's mysteries, we'd love to have you back tomorrow night for another calming exploration of science. Please like and subscribe so you don't miss it. And leave a comment telling us what midnight means to you, what you think about during these quiet hours. We read every one. Tomorrow night, we'll explore something else amazing. Another piece of the natural world that reveals itself when you look closely. Another story that might help you find that peaceful place where sleep can finally come. Sleep well.